a value on the company with an end user in mind and an end buyer in mind. And that's the key. We're looking for a buyer who may see in product lines that they have or some operating aspect of this company that may be a real strategic benefit to what they do, and so they're willing to pay a premium on that. For instance, we're working with an injection molder right now who has a set of proprietary products that they manufacture on behalf of some very good clients. When we started speaking to the owners, I think what we began to focus in on is saying, okay guys, you have a good set of products that still drive good gross margins. In other words, they're still inherently profitable, and there are companies out there that would pay for those kinds of products and pay for anything that's doing the kind of gross margins you have. And the key for us is really we're going to value it based on your gross margins and not on your bottom line. And we're going to do a strategic sale here so that we can find a company or a buyer who sees real value in time. So it was a completely different sale and a completely different valuation for what you might normally see. One thing that we advise them is that no matter what point you are in the sale of business, you want to be running your business as if you're going to be running it 10 years from now. You don't want to see any kind of diminution in sort of the effort you're putting in. So as a consequence, you don't want to be distracted with that. And that's where we can come in. They don't want their employees to be worried about a sale. They don't want their clients to know about a sale. They don't want to have calls coming into them about the sale of their business. They don't want to have emails or people hearing about that or seeing it. So, as a practical matter, trying to effect a sale requires a good deal of time. We put a prospectus together, we put a marketing campaign together. All of that is handled out of our office. We field all of those potential buyer inquiries, and we begin to kind of sort through their backgrounds to ensure that they're sort of the right buyers potentially for your business. And if we're not doing it, then you would have to do it. And there's really no practical way to do that while you're trying to run a business and maintain confidentiality. There's a part of recasting a company's financial statement so that we're highlighting what the values are to the new owners that I think is, and once we've done that, then we package it really into a prospectus, which is as much as anything a marketing piece for your company. And then we begin to market that prospectus in a myriad of ways. Through our own buyer databases, through the internet, through direct contact of potential buyers, whether that's companies or investment groups or otherwise. We're working on a real estate services firm because they're a well-run company. They have good financials, and we've been able to develop a lot of interest sort of very quickly. Over the last several weeks, we fielded about 40 inquiries on this, serious inquiries, which have required us to do a fair amount of due diligence. And we've went on that list down to 10 different buyer candidates who are actually meeting with the owner in our offices, sort of. Typically, it takes us, on average, about 8 months to sell a business. So it's not a trivial process, and there's no guarantee ultimately that we're going to get paid on that unless we sell your business. And if we don't get paid for that investment in our time, then we failed, and we can't afford to fail frequently. So I think we're ultimately, as a result, better aligned with clients than in that kind of a fee structure than one and where we're getting a very sizable retainer up front to try to sell your business. They just said, Jeff, this is really, it's been a real revelation to us. I mean, for us now to wake up and realize that we don't have the responsibility for the payroll. We don't have responsibility to make sure we're servicing the customer in the right way has been a very liberating kind of experience. The fact is that 2 months from now we can look at having freedom to pretty much do anything that we would like to do now in terms of visiting grandkids, taking some trips, doing that kinds of things is really has been a great thing, you know, and by way of not saying what they were saying is, you know, thank you for helping us get to that point, because I don't think they had really considered it until we helped them get there. This guy is a serial entrepreneur, and I think he's never happier than when he's really doing something new and creating something new, and helping him sell his business allowed him to do this. From our perspective, that's a very satisfying thing, you know, to see somebody who sold their business move on to other things. You know, what I found most interesting about this business is there are a lot of great small businesses out there doing all kinds of different things, and a lot of sort of interesting people owning these businesses. And every one of them has a story, and every story is unique. And you get to know them in a way that I've never been able to get to know some business associates, because it's a very revealing time in their lives when they're getting ready to sell a business. And they're all interesting folks. You know, business owners by definition are sort of generally optimistic, kind of you know, take charge type of people, and you know, they're fun to deal with. I say, it's been a good experience from that standpoint. One that I will enjoy doing for a long time to come.